So, I guess I just kind of hit the straw that broke the camel's back. And this video is not directed at anybody in particular. There's probably some people that think it is, but it's not. It's just that I do so much of this and try to get people to understand so much of this that you just can't. It's not about riding a damn horse. A horse has to learn how to be cooperative. It's not about this horse. This horse is in here for training. But he's 10 years old. He has some issues. But I address certain things at first. And if you want to know what it is you're doing wrong with your horse, turn him loose. When a horse is loose, he'll tell you the absolute truth. I get horses in here for training all the time that people tell me this, that, and the other thing. I listen to them, what they say, sure. But the first thing I do is turn the horse loose. Horses will not lie. They'll tell you everything that bothers them when they're loose. So if you can't be in certain positions on a horse, he's going to let you know. Especially when he's loose and you have no control over where he goes other than the fact whether or not he feels safe and comfortable with you. So that's the first thing I establish when I have horses like this. And if you can't do certain things, I'm not saying you got to get a horse to this point. It takes some experience. But so if you need to have them online to get them to do this, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, a lot of people put horses online and they really don't pay attention to what the horse is telling them because they have control of the situation. This is all I'm trying to state, that there's a lot of habits that horses have that people don't even realize, because when the horse does it, they just grab a hold of the lead rope and they stop them. So that's the one thing that I want to address, is that if you just stop the pattern, well, no matter what it is. So if the horse doesn't stand here and he wants to walk forward, and all you do is grab a hold of the lead rope and say, whoa, and the horse stops, well, you haven't changed anything. You stopped it, but you haven't changed the horse's pattern. So you'll have to deal with that quite a lot. And that's one thing, So you'll see some people grab a hold of a horse. When he walks forward, grab a hold of that lead rope, whoa, and then give him a yank and everything. But if you don't get him to actually back up and change the pattern, you haven't fixed anything. So there's three things that I see are the worst three things in the horse world that most people don't even recognize. Of course, there's catching, and I've gone over that several times. But if your horse won't catch, he's telling you something. So that's number one. And with me, that's a big thing. I don't shake the grain to catch a horse. And the other thing is when a horse sets his weight back when you approach him. So if you came in here to pick his feet or something, or even just to walk down his side, if you came down in here and the horse starts backing up, that's a bad problem. Horses that push into you. People wonder why, because I trim horses loose on the ground. I'm not going to tie a horse up to trim them. They have responsibilities just like we do. I have responsibilities to teach this horse to my best ability, to be the best horse he can be. That's my responsibility. His responsibility is to be cooperative. When you have cooperation, it's a great thing. And then my third little pet peeve is if you can't pick up your horse's feet, how do you expect a farrier to do it? And I'm not talking about tying the damn horse up. or locking them in the stall, boxing them in, or tranquilizing them. Don't even get me started on that one. So those are my first rules of thumb. The horse needs to catch. The horse needs to allow me to be on either side and approach from either side without him being worried about it. If he is worried about it, he's already telling me one thing, that he doesn't want to be with me. So you create your own patterns as well as either make good ones or bad ones by what you do with your horse. So I expect, and like I said, your horse doesn't have to be this good, he doesn't have to do it offline, but I expect when he has a halter and lead rope on him, that you should be able to just pick his feet out or handle his feet without any problem. Put it here, put it there. So if he moves off, I'm going to correct him. But he has to understand that this is where life is the best. I stay relaxed unless something goes wrong. But to expect your farrier to be underneath the horse, when that horse is fussing and you're holding on to the front of that horse is moving around and struggling and you're fighting to hold the front of that horse, these farriers that do this are crazy. I'm sorry. I mean, yes, I got to make some money too, but I don't need it that bad. And I'm not going to allow a horse to just bowl me over. Not when all I'm asking you is to pick up your feet. This is not a big deal. You know? So if I ask him to move over, will he move over and then just stop? If he takes a few steps forward, I'll fix him. So I want to be important enough to him that just because the horse is over there whinnying and my other two horses moved over there, that, hey, you're not allowed to go over there. You're here with me right now. Your mind needs to stay with me. So if I have to get after him a little bit, he can understand, he could take a correction. The correction doesn't have to be so hard. It's not that he was perfect when he got here, no. Is he perfect now? No, but he's pretty damn nice. But this is the foundation. When you have this kind of understanding, I can touch him on the side or move this or move that without him taking off and leaving me. I have a great thing going on. So riding this horse is not going to be that big of a deal. So this is one thing I want people to understand, that when you get this, and this is one problem that he had, was always setting his weight back. So it's something that I had to address with him, and now he's getting a little bit spanky here. So I want him to understand, if I approach him on this side and I put my left hand up on this side, I'm very consistent about it. I want to create positive patterns. So if I'm not creating positive patterns, And every time I correct him, I may have to pick my energy up a little bit. And that's okay. If he decides to take off, that's all right. If he takes off, it's what he's telling me, is that things aren't right. And so what he's telling me is because of where that saddle is, that bothers him a bit. Because I'm on this point of his hip. So the saddle is back there. Understand and recognize what bothers a horse. So if I wanted to eliminate this problem and help myself out as far as making it easier for me, I could certainly just back him up so that the saddle is not at his hip. But I'm here to teach him and to make him a good horse. So if the saddle at his hip bothers him, I'm going to help him realize the fact that there's nothing wrong with that. So I want him to understand if I come in here and I just relax and I give him a rub like that he understands this is a good place. Don't worry about whatever else it is I'm doing. So just that tiny little weight shift forward is telling me that he's probably going to step off again. And I want to be able to saddle my horse anywhere. I want to be able to handle his feet anywhere. So if you create patterns and the only time you handle your horse's foot is when he's in cross ties or in his stall or anything, and then you try to do it somewhere else, they become freaked out about it. Well, you got nobody to blame but yourself, because that's a pattern you've created. Because that's the only time I ever touch your feet, is when you're in the stall or you're in cross ties. I mean, sometimes I go out and trim my horse's feet out in the pasture. I bring a halter and lead rope with me just in case, because I do have a primary duty that I want to get done. But most of my horses, what I'll just do is throw the lead rope over their back, just leave it sitting there. But I want him to understand, to saddle him. So it's not about this horse in particular or anything. It's about all horses and what all people do with all horses. You know, one pattern that I noticed with him is that if I took him to the barn, everything was okay in the barn. But if I tried to do it out here, oh dear. See, so patterns you create and the safe place that you create are what you're going to get. And then if you wonder why you can't get some of this stuff done when you're somewhere else, well, you got nobody to blame but yourself. But it's not about riding a horse. If I can get this much cooperation on the ground, I'm going to have way more cooperation on their saddle. But all these things have to work. The horse actually has to want to be here, or at least trust the fact that being here is okay. I mean, I don't even want to get into what I see in the trimming world about horse behavior and tranquilizers, and it's a bunch of crap. Because this isn't my horse. He hasn't been here for 6 months or anything like that. He's been here for 3 weeks. Sure, he understood how to do some things, but I found out by turning him loose what was really bothering him, where he felt safe, where he didn't feel safe. And see, out here was not a safe place for him. Out in the pasture was not a safe place for him. So unless the person is, or the horse is safe around the person, you've got nothing going on. Absolutely nothing. So to get on them and ride them, all you got is you're working on control, and it's all physical control. You got to have some emotional control. Is way stronger than any rope.